I think we are live streaming. Hello everyone, how's it going? This is a little quick fun stream to 3D model a cute character. There's this company or conference called Pictoplasma, and they focus on character design. And they're actually hosting right now a competition. I guess it's called Too Cute to Fail. And they're trying to get people to submit cute little characters. And I guess if you win, you can get a conference ticket. But yeah, they have some amazing 3D character artists and illustrators. So there's pretty much not a chance we'll win this, but I thought it'd still be fun just to live stream and make something fun. I actually don't know what I'm gonna make. It's gonna be a character, so I know it's gonna have eyeballs. And on the stream, I'm gonna basically just sketch some ideas, and then we'll eventually render it and submit it. If you have any ideas, feel free to post in the chat. I have it open in another window, and I also have on the bottom left here all my key presses. So if you're curious how I'm doing the shortcuts, you can always see it there. So I'm gonna start by, I guess, just thinking about some ideas of like what this could be. There's definitely gonna be some eyeballs. I think rounded characters lend themselves to be cute in general. I do like kind of personification of computers. There's like famous characters like BMO that do this. I am going to, I guess one idea I had was actually like little baby characters around a bigger character would be pretty cute. Or even I could imagine a character that has like some sort of pouch, and in the pouch is like a bunch of other little characters. I'm gonna do a little bit of just Googling just to see like cute things. Let's see what shows up. Obviously we have like dogs and animals. Maybe let's do like cutest animal. So I think scale is kind of an interesting thing. The competition does want them on kind of a plain background, so it may be difficult to communicate scale unless we put in a prop. Yeah, I guess a lot of them you have like hands holding something very small. Small little feet and hands. This is also kind of interesting, having something very small do something unexpected that a human would do. I'm also going to search YouTube, see what videos show up under cute. Let's filter. Where is most viewed view count? Okay, I guess we have a lot of human babies, some water balloons. Yeah, I'm actually thinking I might just start in Blender and kind of see where that takes me. One thing, yeah, I am thinking about like babies or multiple characters in the scene. And maybe some sort of prop to represent scale. Yeah, let's just go into Blender. So I always start out with a cube, and then I add subdivision on it. This just gives me the topology that I think is a lot easier to work with. And we'll quickly make some eyeballs. apply this and then add another subdivision. It'll just be easier for me to model from. Yeah, I'm kind of just thinking about how much of a, I do want it to have like hands and feet. Kind of just thinking, can it just be, I guess, like Kirby-esque where where the hands and feet are coming out of the body, or if it actually should have a body. Just add a light also. Sunlight. Okay. I think that's a good base. I think the eyeballs are definitely gonna be black. Here we go. I messed up the body material, so let's just duplicate that and call it body. Okay. I'm gonna just do some iterations here. Yeah, I'm a little bit new to Blender, so I may be perceivably a little slow at some of these things. I think I'm just gonna generally get the shape language. We could do kind of like a Ditto type character where he's coming out of the ground. I feel like I do, now after just like seeing these two, I do want it to have a body. So I'm gonna actually start with this one. I'm also going to mirror the body so I don't have to worry about doing twice the amount of work. And I need to move this up so we don't get those weird creases. All right, I'm going to delete this. That was kind of just a backup. And I'm going to move this a little bit more. All right. I make one more backup, and I think I'm going to just work on adding little arms and feet. And to me, I kind of see it as having two options. One, it could be all from one shape, or it could be separate geometry. I'm not in love with these feet, to be honest. I'm gonna go back. I do think the arms are gonna work out, but I'm thinking I need to just kind of get the face structure done a little bit more, and I'm gonna add clipping here, which is a new thing I learned, which is really helpful for mirrored characters or mirrored anything. Basically means that if this is off, I can like intersect but if clipping is on, I can't go past that that point in the x-axis. And that's pretty cute. Just trying to redo that. I actually haven't used Blender probably, I think, since the last live stream, really. So it's kind of fun to be back. I think for this specific thing, we're gonna just end up doing something pretty simple. Kind of also thinking the eyes might have two colors, but we'll see. Maybe one more row. All right. Trying to think if it's going to be, I know it's all very subjective, but I am thinking if this character should be smiling a little. I think that would help. Not sure why that's rotating all. Do I have multiple eyes right there? That's there, that's here. It looks like something weird is going on with this flickering. Okay. Maybe I just didn't, yeah, I didn't have it all selected, I guess. Okay, let's name this eyes, body. I'm debating the mouth size right now. Guess let's start playing with the body color just a little bit to get a sense of where we're gonna go. And being a fan of The Simpsons, I always like to try and go with a yellow. is so simple. I'm debating like how to actually make this thing a little more interesting. Thinking about teeth. I'm thinking about like nerdy glasses. And just like little details in general, which I think could help. I also always think about would like eyebrows add a cute factor too. I feel like it's hard to know. I feel like eyebrows make it feel a little adult. Let's see. Let's zero this out and add a mirror. I think for the next live stream, I'm gonna do something completely different. Either show you guys something that I'm working on, which is mostly coding, but I worry coding is really boring to watch on a live stream. Something more visual is fun like this for you guys to enjoy. Yeah, the other thing I was thinking of doing is I make these little like AR concept videos, and that's another visual thing I could do on the stream. It's kind of funny. Thinking in general, I'm thinking we'd have like, I don't know, 6 to 10 of these characters. So maybe one way to make them feel unique among each other is to like change their eyebrow size. I think that actually helps too. Okay. So I'm still thinking about like arms or ears, or I wonder if we should have like little human arms coming all the way out. And if you have any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask. Happy to answer. This is me just really trying to figure it out for myself right now. But I know some folks are also trying to learn Blender, so it's helpful to tell you guys what I'm actually doing from a tool perspective. So yeah, I honestly I have no idea what I'm gonna be making, but I think I'm feeling fairly confident that this will be the character. It's just how can we make him or her a little more fun. I wonder if we put like human pants or shorts on this person. Going to that's in edit mode, so I need to add a new mesh here. I'll do subdivision. We'll do 2 just like with the main person. Again, I'm just thinking about what pants would look like on this thing. I also am wondering if personifying something people already know like a chicken egg would be better, and that is kind of interesting too if you kind of imagine this as like a shell and he's or she is getting out of this shell. I think maybe I'll go with something like that. I do want like a little more detail, but yeah, maybe this thing coming out of a shell is a good idea. So let's see if we can get this. We need to have like, I believe, jaggedy edges, but it's also kind of interesting to think of it as like coming out of like a pill or like one of those vending machines you can find in like a supermarket, or at least you used to when I was a kid. Like a little toy that you get out. Okay. Oops. I'm gonna duplicate this just in case. Yeah, I'm gonna play with these materials too. So the white of the eye, one trick I usually do is I add some emission. I don't crank it all the way up, I add just a little bit to knock out some of the shadows. I could also do it with lighting, but for certain things I think it's kind of nice just to just do it in the material. Yeah, sometimes it can look a little weird depending on the final scene's lighting. Okay, let's try and figure out this egg. So I honestly don't really know the best way to add those little cracked edges. I wouldn't want to add geometry in the pre-sub-D'd model. I think maybe one level down, that's probably the sweet spot where we start to do some stuff to it. Let's see what even one less, I think then that might not be enough because I want to have a decent amount of cracks. So I'm going to basically just apply this. And there is a decent amount of topology to play with. Let me make sure this is global actually. And just so you know, I do have the chat open if anyone has questions. And assuming we do more than one of these, I have to randomize this cracking as well. Oops, I realized before I guess maybe the whole time I need to kind of go back just to make sure I'm not modifying too much stuff. Okay. So I think the way to do this nicely in Blender is first I'm going to just hide all of this by clicking H. And now I can kind of more freely, more confidently select these without worrying it's going to also select something from the back. Okay, now I do Alt H to show it again. I think I'm going to do the same thing to the front. H. Alt H, see where we're at. That's pretty good. It is a little jaggedy, so like I just add another subdivision onto it. Ooh, I guess that creates problems with the cracking. I wonder if we'll get weird pinching if I do that. Yeah, then we get weird pinching. So maybe this wasn't the right technique to do a cracked egg. Just thinking. Guess maybe I honestly should have subdivided it. Or I should have applied the original subdivision with more. And then I wouldn't even have to do this. Okay. We're gonna repeat that. Oops. Okay, so now this subdivision has more geometry, and I think that's probably smooth enough. If we want more, we could. I think that would be way too much. Okay. Let's try it like this. We're gonna do the exact same thing as last time. Oh, sorry. Click that. Gonna hide that. Okay. So now I'm free to do the cracking again. There's a lot more geometry, so I'm gonna want to be a little bit careful to not make it feel too uniform. So sometimes I'm gonna align it so it looks like I didn't do anything. Make sure it's looking okay. Okay, I think it's looking good. Okay, I think that's looking pretty cool. We might want to exaggerate a little more, but I think for now that's a good start. Gonna hide that. I think we'll worry about the seams later, so let's just work our way around. I don't think we're going to render the image from the back, so this isn't too important. But I figure, in case we want to do a turntable or something of it later, we should do the whole thing. Yeah, sometimes you may see me like with those lines. Basically, if you hold middle click and, or actually if you're in G and move, and then you hold middle click and do a direction, it snaps to that alignment. You could also do it with like pressing just like Z or X or Y, but I think it's a little more intuitive to just quickly do it with the mouse. I'm actually using a tablet, so it's a bit easier. Okay. That looks pretty good. I wonder if this is the only one I think might look a little flat. Yeah. All right, perfect. I actually wonder if I could just get away with taking this, rotating it a bit. See if there's a a spot that looks like it might fit. I think something like that might be good. And then all right, I think we're almost there. I'm curious if adding teeth would help, like little baby teeth. Let's do a mirror and a sub-D per usual. It's kind of my approach for all box modeling. Wonder if those two teeth help or not. It's kind of cute. Oh, I'm just trying to name these teeth. Okay. Let's name shell bottom, shell top. Eyebrow. Okay, I think I can delete this safely. Kind of just curious if like multiple of these may end up being a little too much to have a few of these. Just thinking how I can make this hat a little bit better. I want to see if I can dissolve these edges. And also from the inside. So we can make the hat a little smaller. Dissolve. So I know in Blender there's some way to do kind of like a loop selection. But I am not sure how to do that. Let's see if local will help us in terms of orientation. Okay. Room is cuter if he's kind of like peeking out. I think that's a little too much. Okay. I think that's kind of cool. And I'm wondering if I can make it a little more like graphic in terms of like graphic designy cool. So I want to see if I can get like a fun pattern, kind of like, I don't know, you can think of it as kind of like a dinosaur egg, even though it looks a little bit like chicken because it's yellow. And inside, like US letter, mail, inside pattern, they have like this super cool, I don't know if you've seen these. I guess it's called an envelope. Envelope. This thing. This is all, I think, watermarked up. So I need to find one that I could actually use. Confetti? Is that maybe the term that people call it? Is this watermarked? It's a little hard to see. Confetti pattern. These aren't as good. This one's interesting. I mean, we could open processing and code one. Let's just do a little more Googling before doing that. Inside envelope pattern. Like cool retro pattern. No, that's too like Mad Men style. I guess retro is the wrong word. Was it like 90s pattern? I guess that's closer. Something like this. Yeah, this is much more what I was thinking. The circles are kind of interesting, but I wanted to just have lines. The squiggles is kind of cool too. I guess we could also make a pattern from scratch, but let's just try this one. Okay. Whether we invert it or not, I'm not sure, but let's just save it. Okay, pattern 1. Call this shell. The UVs are going to need some help, but let's first try and get that texture in. Image texture, I'll have that be the base color. I do Control T because I have Node Wrangler on, just gives me this really quickly. And then I'm going to open that texture, pattern 1. Okay, it's not that bad. Need to go to UV editing. See what's going on. Select it all. So I know the back won't be seen because for now we're just going to render an image. So I'm actually going to just make a seam right here. And this is one of my favorite parts of why I'm using Blender instead of Cinema 4D. If I click U and then mark seam, I select all this, and I click U and I do Smart UV projection. That's for, no, that was wrong. Unwrap. There we go. So now it unwraps it and it accommodates for that seam. I think we should also probably have a seam just on the top of the whole thing. I'm going to put it a little bit on the inside. Okay. U, mark seam, select it all, unwrap. So then it won't be worrying about the inside. It's fairly uniform. Obviously we have like, it doesn't pattern right here, and I think we have some stretching, but I think for the render angle this might be good. Let's see if we can make it work. Let's also make the top same pattern. Shell. Oh, we gotta do the same thing for the top. Okay. Ooh, this is some pretty bad, because I was doing all this like free form rotation. We kind of have a pretty awful area for a seam, but we gotta make do with what we have because this is just playing around. Oh god. It's hard to select this with all this stuff. Okay. Let's just see if this will be enough. Mark seam. And let's do the inside. Mark seam, select it all, U, unwrap. I think the body will help cover all the issues with it. It's looking funky retro 90s baby now. Where are we going? Shading. Okay. Okay, so I actually want it for the most part to be white. So we're gonna take, how do I get just a color? And I know I could do, that's not what I want. Color. This is again me just being a complete noob when it comes to Blender. I think maybe I could just use value. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Well, I should really have a color though, to be honest. Let's just Google it. Blender 2.8 color node shader. I always just do images because it's quicker. So they were using a color ramp. I know about that, but it always has two colors. Figured there's got to be a way to do it with one color. Oh, I do think I can just do like diffuse as a shader. I think that's what people do. Or not. It's pink because it's not working. Mission. I think that's it. I guess not again. Okay, well we can just use a color ramp, I guess. Wonder if maybe I can. Okay, there we go. I could just get rid of that. So now it's just one color. We can change that. Okay. We are in business. I guess people do use that. If they use something else that you know about, please let me know. So basically, for this pattern, I want to multiply a color by this. Let's see. So now it should be, let's see, maybe I need to do linear color space. It is RGB. So this is black, this is white. So I would assume doing multiply would basically make all the white areas this orange color. Boom, boom, boom. It's definitely multiply. I'm not questioning that. I'm just trying to figure out if there's something I'm missing about the way this node is working. Linear, repeat, single image. What happens when I change this? So that is changing, but it's not turning into a color. Really not sure why it wouldn't turn into a color. It's also weird that it's getting darker as the saturation goes up. I might have to do another search for this. Let's do Blender 2.8 shader, change color on black and white mask. Let's see what's going on here. So it's using a mix shader to mix two diffuses. I think that's a little too overkill for what I'm trying to do, to be honest. It might work, but okay, this looks like it might be the right thing. Oh, this is the question, so we need the answer. Okay. That is not correct. Cycles baking transparent backgrounds. I think that's different. We're not trying to bake anything. I mean, I'm just thinking of other ways to make this happen. Thought there would be a lerp function. Doesn't look like it though. Yeah, I really think this should work. I guess whoever's watching the stream doesn't know the answer either. Okay, let's actually just do the Google instead of the images. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, shader, change, or mask color with image. And do one more, and if not, I'll go into like a YouTube video or something. Okay, let's see. I guess people are using the mix node. This is kind of exactly what we want. So they're using mix. Okay, let's try that, and then we can actually look at what their tutorial's saying if we don't get it. Mix shader. Oh, there's mix RGB. That's probably what we want. Okay. Mix RGB. Let's see what happens there. I don't think that's gonna work. That's just taking that. This is a lerp. Okay, so mix is their equivalent of lerp. In between, you kind of get. I mean, it is kind of nice in terms of color palette because it's taken from the same thing. To be honest, it gives a little less control. But it is kind of cool. And instead of making you guys suffer with me, it might be better just to choose something in this palette. Something like that is nice. looks like at different scales. Starts to look a little bit less like a shell, to be honest. Let me get back the white shell so we can compare shell, white. Shell, white, okay. That's the white shell. And then this is the other one. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think we should make the environment and then we can figure out the rest. Yeah, and they basically for the competition they said it should really just be a plain background. Let's call this floor. Let's see if we can bring in that color that I liked into the floor. Okay. And that is too dark. Let's take our sun. It's a lot better. I think that shadow is too intense on the floor. It's like a hacky way that I remove or change the color with the shadow, but there's a few other ways to do it. I also wonder if I should do just point lights instead of a sun. Let's try that too. Point to like 1,000 watts. In general, I don't like it when there's too many shadows, so when I do multiple point lights, I only have one that's emitting a shadow. Otherwise it starts to look like a baseball field or something. Let's add a camera. We need to make this scene 2000 by 2000. Yeah, I'll go here now. So I think for this I'm actually going to make a box. A cube. I'm going to give it that color of the floor. I'm going to delete these faces. Put it here. And then I'm actually going to just do a subdivision so we can actually get something really smooth. If we want the floor to be a little more flourish, we can, more flat that is, I can do that. Basically just add a little more geometry for the subdivision to catch. It's like a nice soft background. I actually think I'm gonna just go with the white shell color. I think it's a little more, communicates a little more that it's a shell. And again, I use emission just to like fill out the shadows a little bit and control the color that I want the shadow. I think the purple, orange, or peach, or purple, peach, and yellow are pretty nice together. I think this is probably going to be it. I'm wondering if I should do anything else to it. If you're watching and have a thought, feel free to let me know. I thinking about if I add a kick light with a slightly different color, if that would look cool or not. It lights up the inside of the shell. Let's align camera to view and lock camera to view so that you can actually move it around properly. I think this is probably way too much. Let's see, 500, 20. I think that's, it gives us a little bit more contrast. It's probably unnecessary, to be honest, but oh, I moved the camera by mistake. Yeah, I guess the only other thing I'm thinking about is these eyes could be better. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. And that's pretty good. I'm going to duplicate the eyes and just try a different version. I know I often do these eyes that like protrude out of the face because they're just spheres. And sometimes people say, oh, why don't you make them flat? Real eyeballs don't pop out of the head that much, which is true. Let's see if I can do that. I'm gonna just eyeball it. Sorry for the pun. Okay. And we just want to kind of center it a little more. Partly depends on our actual camera angle. Let's do this. Let's name this background. Okay. I feel like it's cuter with the sphere eyes, to be honest, instead of the buttons. Where did these eyeballs go? Oh, I misnamed these eyes. Button. Okay, let's hide those. Bring back our old eyes. Let's name the background. Background cube. Alright. Any final thoughts that we can make this thing a little bit better? Kind of curious if we just put our old shell material on this. Shading. Probably a little too much. I think it ends up being distracting from the actual character. These are the types of things I could just really end up tweaking forever. which is not always the best thing. The good news is I'm going to finish on the stream, so it can't go on forever. GY. Eyebrows. I don't think the eyebrows should be all metallic. Okay. That's one option, where he's like more in the shell. And the other one, I might just take a screenshot so I can think about it better. And then let's get the other one back. Shell top, shell top. It's almost better without the shell top. Let's go global, and then our shell is off his head. I worry that ends up being too visually distracting. But I do kind of think he might be better. It's hard to know. I mean, it's so subjective. Is he cuter with the shell or without the shell? Now that I see this, I think the shell is like way too, yeah, maybe something in between like that is better. Local. Okay, I think that we're gonna call it a day at that. I don't know if it's a chicken or an egg, but hopefully it's cute. That was the only goal, really. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the process or learned something, and I'll see you on the next one.